This is Eric Critter. I'm with virtualfranklincountyva.com. I'm sitting here with Mr. Charles Poindexter, who is our representative in the House of Delegates. And he's running for re-election this year, and I wanted to interview you, Charles, today and find out a little bit about the concerns you have for the district and the state going forward and the challenges the state faces.
Well, very good. Welcome, Eric, to downtown Glade Hill.
My old hometown.
Your own hometown. It's good to be with you. Glad you came down this morning to address and let me address some of the things that's on the plate in the state and district. First, let me say I've been quite honored and privileged to represent the 9th District, Floyd, Franklin, and northern Pittsylvania County in the House of Delegates over the last 2 years. I've had some bills passed, I've had some fail, I've learned the process around Richmond. I thought I was pretty well prepared going in, but you know they use Thomas Jefferson rules instead of Robert's rules.
Oh, really?
If you think about it, the House of Delegates is the oldest legislating body, so with Thomas Jefferson being the founder of the country and the House of Delegates, and we use Thomas Jefferson rules.
Well, how do they differ from Robert's rules?
3 times 3 times 3 times 3 on every issue. 3 subcommittee meetings, 3 committee meetings in the House and Senate each, so that's about 12 meetings. Well, it's a single object rule, and this is very important for the citizens to understand. In Virginia, a bill or piece of law can only address one subject, single object rule. So we can't tack on these little riders and hidden things as occurs at the federal level.
That would be nice to have at the federal level.
I'm a citizen legislature. We're part-time. Most legislators have their own jobs and way of making a living. A few are retired, but most are working people, and very diverse group from attorneys to not many farmers, but a few farmers, businessmen, teachers. It just runs the gamut. And I think that's a strength of the system.
Well, that's a good thing. Well, Charles, I wanted to talk to you and ask you about some of the challenges facing the state. First is the budget crunch. Everybody knows that the economy's down and the state's not bringing the revenue that it used to. And I'm sure that presents its own unique challenges for funding state operations.
If I had to say the paramount issue last session was budget, it is even greater this year. In May, state revenues were down over 9%, and we were projecting a decline of about 7%. That was the governor's staff's estimate last year. So even for the current year in which we're in, which will end next June 30, the governor has already asked state agencies to take another look at additional cuts. So there will be discussion on 5, 10, 15% in different agencies and different programs for the current year, which began 1 July. That's just part of it. We budget for 2 years in the Commonwealth, and in January, February, and March next year, we will prepare a budget for the following 2 years, which will mean re-benchmarking and baselining education and all the other programs. So the revenue estimates for those following 2 years are going to be critical, and of course none of us know where the economy is going to be during those 2 years. So I think it's going to be prudent if we are very responsible and don't start new programs and stay on our core missions, core functions of state government. That's the way it's looking until the economy can come up.
What do you see as those core functions?
Well, clearly education, transportation is a function, but it's not funded through the general fund normally. Public safety, health, mental health, physical health, public safety from fire to rescue and so forth. Now, there are some that say that transportation is not a core function of government. I would argue that you have to have good roads to go to school, so if education is a core function to some extent, transportation is a core function as well. But that's a perennial discussion.
All right. And kind of continuing on with the budget crunch, the federal government has been notorious for sending unfunded mandates to the states. Do you see that trend continuing? Do you think...
I'm afraid it will. The administration, the Congress right now are clearly spending a lot of money and clearly identifying significant new programs in cap and trade and energy and healthcare. The transportation budget the transportation authorization bill in Washington expires the 1st of October. So on and on with that. So I'm afraid there will be a tendency to download some of the cost of these new programs and even existing programs to the state. And this is the same discussion we have with local governments each year. And I remember when I was on the Board of Supervisors, we were always complaining about unfunded mandates from Richmond. So now we have a three-tier, and the bottom local government is sort of the bottom line. And we can't continue to do that. The local governments here in the 9th District rely chiefly on real estate taxes. And we can't tax real estate but so much. So very clearly, some of these new programs in Washington, I believe Congress needs to look at more closely and certainly not send us any more unfunded mandates.
Well, have you done anything, since you said you fought it when you were at the Board of Supervisors, have you tried to do anything at the state level now that you're there?
Yes, we have. We're now sending every bill that is going to cost money has to have a cost impact statement. And one of the lines on there is what is the impact on local government. Now, that doesn't mean we still don't levy a few things on the state, but it's getting very difficult to pass a state budget with additional unfunded mandates on local governments, and I have stood on that.